Hey everybody, welcome to this inaugural episode of a new video series where I recap my experience with the games that I play from the perspective of completing all of the achievements in the game. If you are familiar with my channel, you'll know that I make video guides to help you get achievements. I've got just a few videos on my channel so far, but I wanted to spice things up and have something with more watchability and appeal and maybe grow my channel a bit, I wouldn't mind that. But anyways, the guides will still be coming out for games, of course, but I just wanted to step out of my comfort zone to offer something different to all of you and change some things up. I also would love any suggestions on a title for the series, like maybe Barely Completed, something like that. I don't know, it's hard to decide, but for right now, I'll stick to calling it Barely Complete Reviews. And finally, please take advantage of the time codes I provided to jump around the video if you're looking for anything specific, but with that being said, I hope you enjoy. Boy, oh boy, One Piece has a special place in my heart for many reasons. So when I first picked up this game, I was expecting just a typical anime game, low effort arena battles and low effort scenery, but it was much more than that. One Piece World Seeker is an open world adventure that sets you out on the prison island in the middle of a conflict between two factions, putting Luffy and his crew in the middle of all of the action and standing to make a difference on the island. If you know open world games and you are an achievement hunter, you know they can be laborious. Now, this game is most definitely no exception. Although it isn't at the same caliber as The Witcher 3 or Skyrim, it is still going to require a bit of commitment from you by sitting at an estimated completion when including DLC of around 50 hours at a minimum. That is no official time per se, it is just what the community over at True Achievements would suggest as an estimation, but it is a considerable amount. Now, with that sort of introduction out of the way, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. I am going to be breaking down essentially what is involved in getting 100% of the achievements in this game, including the DLC achievements as well. So if you are a full-on completionist, this video is definitely for you. I will be going from an overview of what is required, and then I will be reviewing a few individual achievements that I want to highlight either for being a pain in my ass or a joy to complete. I guess you'll have to watch to find out which achievements fall into which category. But with that being said, let's get to the overview. When starting up the game, you will need one playthrough of the main game only, and it can be on any difficulty, which will make things easier if you want to breeze through some of this game. During that playthrough, you are required to complete 100 side missions, collect 200 chests, complete 100% of the karma tasks for every faction, purchase every single skill, and a whole load of other miscellaneous things to unlock achievements like performing 100 critical shots and having to complete a 5-second flight off of a Gum Gum rocket launch, and of course, completing the story. Those tasks are listed in no particular order because fortunately, you get to continue with your save file after the game has been completed. Following that playthrough and completing the base game's achievements, you will be starting up the DLCs. One DLC titled Boss Rush is, as it implies, a boss rush, where you beat the bosses from the main game in an arena for 5 minutes and aim to go as far as possible, effectively rushing through them all. Get past 10 and you'll be fighting teams of 2. For unlocking all achievements in this DLC, all you need to do is beat all 10 single opponent battles within 5 minutes. Not too rough if you're on easy, but hard is a different matter that I will discuss later. As for the other 3 character-based DLCs, they are offshoots of the main game story and they are honestly a great time. Playing as Law, Sabo, and Zoro was super refreshing after spending so much time in the main game. As for the DLC achievements, the basic structure of tasks you will need to complete is to complete the DLC's story, perform 1 or 2 skills a certain amount of times, purchase all of these skills for your character, and finally complete all of the challenge missions available. After you have completed all of what I had previously discussed and attained all achievements, you will have completed this game with 63 achievements and 1600 gamerscore added to your profile. That's not too bad if you ask me. So, as an overview, this game may either seem straightforward or even troublesome for a few. If you think any of the achievements may be tough to complete, I'll let you know which ones really were annoying, and I will also throw in a few of the fun achievements too. I don't want to be only negative about this game because I personally had an enjoyable time with my completion, so let's go ahead and get started with the first achievement that we will be discussing, Island Hero. Island Hero is worth 70 gamerscore with an unlock requirement of completing 100 side missions. Alright, this achievement is something I feel kind of neutral about. It is definitely not a fun time at certain points, but it is most definitely not as much of a grind as you might expect. For example, if you are a One Piece fan, there are side quests like The Lost Swordsman, where Zoro gets lost, and Island Illness, where Chopper describes how a civil war tore apart his own home country, and he's warning this island that the same thing will happen. The writing in these side quests and the game in general is always true to the characters we know from the anime and the manga. These side quests can get you smiling so often it is uncanny, which makes the grind of completing so many side quests that much easier. You get to look forward to character interactions and callback moments only fans would know, but on the flip side, the actual side quests are a bore to complete themselves. They are simply not fun, with the exception of a few maybe. So many of these side quests are material requests where you are asked to locate some materials, and the rest are quests where you do a bunch of talking and only fight once. It's world building for sure, but is it fun? I'd say no. It's more of a to-do list of tasks for you to do on the island. And the one good thing about this achievement having 100 side missions to complete is that you don't need to complete 100 side missions that require you to do a lot of work. And that is because there are these karma missions that have you talk to a single character or a group of characters, and they count towards the 100 total side missions for this achievement. So in the end, you are only completing around 50 to 60 side missions that require significant effort, and the rest of the side missions are all karma missions, which can be done in 2 seconds each. So this achievement receives a neutral rating. These side missions aren't always difficult, and the number is deceiving because you can use the easy ass karma missions to inflate your numbers, but it really is just a grind to keep you playing the game. Next achievement we've got is Woohoo, worth 15 gamer score with an unlock requirement asking you to fly for 5 seconds during a single Gum Gum rocket flight without landing. Completing this achievement was honestly a really enjoyable time. It was good training for using the traversal system in this game. It is much easier to simply get naturally, to be honest. Just by going through the world later on in the game when you have more upgrades, you will more than likely unlock this. But I personally had a ton of fun using my weaker, quote unquote, weaker rocket flights to try my best to string together the longest flight possible. It wasn't a crazy grind like some of these other achievements, but it was more of a fun and engaging challenge to go for. Would definitely say I enjoyed this one. This one gets a positive rating. Next up, we have the achievement I Want to Go to the Sky Islands. It is worth 30 gamer score with a requirement of reaching a sky island for the first time. Alright, so this achievement is something I'm mostly feeling positive about. It is an achievement tied to a specific quest with Law. Once you build up your karma high enough with Law, this quest will be available to you. It all leads up to you heading to the Sky Island dubbed Luffy's Sky Island, since it is the one Luffy chose during the quest. It just felt like some well-deserved build-up to find yourself on the Sky Island after little bits and pieces around the island have been hinting there is something up above. So making it there yourself and literally flying all the way up to a Sky Island of my own just felt magical to me. This achievement definitely gets a positive rating from me. Next up, we've got the achievement I'll Send You All Flying, worth 15 gamer score with an unlock requirement of defeating 6 enemies simultaneously. Now this achievement was a really enjoyable challenge. At first I was thinking that the achievement would be easiest done with the Elephant Gatling special attack due to its wide area of attack, but then I noticed there was the Conqueror's Haki ability. And for anyone who has seen the anime, you know just how much of a badass move this would be. So I of course wanted to use it to unlock this achievement, and with the tips found on True Achievements, this achievement would line up to be an easy feat when paired with Conqueror's Haki. My first try gathering up all of the enemies that I needed and letting off that Conqueror's Haki made me feel as badass as it looks. Achievement unlocked and my childhood dream fulfilled. I truly was embodying Luffy at that moment. This achievement 100% deserves a positive rating. Next up, we have got the achievement Exploration Strategist. This is worth 30 gamer score and it has an unlock requirement of asking the Straw Hat Pirates to go exploring 12 times. So, this achievement was interesting to say the least. It wasn't fun by any means, but it was just average. Like, it was beneficial to learn I could gather materials by sending out crewmates, and good to know that the recipes you locate throughout the island are not useless. But it being a timed event where I could only send a single crewmate out for a specified amount of time made me think that this was just another filler task to pad out time. If you tackle this immediately and make sure you use the shortest duration trips or even send them out on the longest trips but only do 1 trip a day, this one isn't a major inconvenience to you. But if you have no clue this achievement required you to do this as you play, you might just roll your eyes once you notice that it requires you to return to the sunny over and over for such a minute task. This achievement left me feeling like whatever about it. I'm glad it's not a massive grind, but it was annoying to me that I couldn't crush it all in one session, but that's more of a personal thing. Anyways, this achievement receives a neutral rating. Interesting idea, I'm just not sure the execution was done super well. Next up, we have the achievement Go All the Way to the Top. This achievement is worth 30 gamer score with an unlock requirement of reaching pirate rank 100. So this is most definitely going to be one of the last achievements that you complete. You build yourself up to completing the achievement as you complete side missions and karma missions, and even random tasks like defeating a certain amount of a specific enemy type. Along the way to reaching karma level 100, you need to interact with all of the characters you know through the island. It was a complete joy for me to speak to Savo and the Straw Hat crew to build up karma, and especially when completing enough with the crew, you get a final quick cutscene which is just cute as hell. That made this achievement entirely worth it just to see that. But the main drawback to this achievement would be that this does require a considerable amount of grinding if you didn't defeat enough enemies to meet the goals that each faction was requesting, especially if you forgot to perform a takedown or special move on a boss. It was really annoying trying to locate them for me. Smog was at this lighthouse or in a naval base. It was always hit or miss for his location. It just took some effort to find them and it wasn't always certain. However, as annoying as that is, this achievement is definitely one that I feel positively about. I wholeheartedly recommend you complete this achievement and build up karma with all of the factions. All of the side quests where you interact with these core characters of the series would be quite a shame to pass up, especially if you are a fan of One Piece. This achievement gets a positive rating from me. So next up we have the achievement Treasure Hunter, worth 30 gamer score with an unlock requirement of opening 200 treasure chests. So I mean, like, there are more than 200 treasure chests in this game, so it's not a huge bummer that it's 200. You don't have to collect every single one, right? You only have to collect 200, but that's still 200, like, holy, why? That is just the Ubisoft level kind of collectibles. And granted, this game did come out in 2019, so people weren't necessarily exhausted already by the collectibles of Ubisoft games, but now finding 200 chests throughout the area of this game was just a complete chore. There are around 210 chests available in this game, so it's not like you need to find every single chest like I previously mentioned, but really, you essentially need to locate all of the chests before you unlock this achievement. And to add on to the fact that there are 200 chests for you to collect, you can also not see them on the in-game map. You can only find chests by looking at the minimap only, meaning you can only see the chests in your radius. This means you have 3 courses of action when you come across a chest. You pick up every chest as you pass by them, you try your best to remember where the chest is located and return later, or you just leave it for your future self because you can't be bothered to collect everything as you pass them. This is intentional, I'm sure, and definitely creates a challenge, but truly it is not an achievement I am fond of. Now, in the aim to not be entirely negative, you can actually see the total count of chests in any given area by looking at the map and seeing how many chests are collected out of the total available, which is very useful for searching and clearing areas of their collectibles. And these achievements aren't just simply useless, they do come with benefits. Some are tied to side quests and even main quests, so in a sense, you are getting a free chest to add to your goal of 200 along the way, and all of the chests do contain materials, equipment, or recipes which benefit you with other achievements and side quests, so it is a net positive because you really do need to make sure you collect whatever materials you come across, because so many side missions require varying materials, it is hard to keep track, and if you just collect as many chests as possible, you actually do come out with a lot of uncommon materials. So it is beneficial to collect chests in my opinion, and it does help that there are so many because then it is even more potential materials that you have the opportunity to collect. So it is good to pick up chests, but in my opinion, this does not outweigh the negatives of these treasure chests. It is a crazy amount of chests to expect people to want to collect. This is simply for the people who are going for all of the achievements, like let's be honest. If you aren't a fan of collectibles, this would most likely ruin your experience with what is honestly a surprisingly good game. From me, this achievement does receive a negative rating. Alright, coming down to the last 3 of the ratings that I'm going to be doing for this video. First off, we are going to be talking about all 4 of the skills achievements. So this includes I Won't Lose Anyone, Enthused Warrior, Chief of Staff, and Trouble with a capital D. All 4 of these achievements add up to 120 gamer score, and they all require you to unlock all of these skills for Luffy, Zoro, Sabo, and Law respectively. Now, these achievements all had too much grinding. The enemies reward such minimal XP that you have to grind to unlock all of the skills. No way you get this naturally unless you play through the final levels in the story over and over and over. And that goes for all of the DLC characters. Now, there aren't only negatives to this achievement. Of course, you do get to unlock all of these skills for your characters, but for what purpose in the end? I grinded and I unlocked all of my skill points in the main game after I completed everything else. So I didn't get to feel like I had any actual use for the skills. I just did it all for the achievement. I am certainly to blame for the timing of when I unlocked this achievement and not being able to benefit from using it, but am I fully to blame for the fact that it took me 3 to 4 runs of the final levels of the main story to earn enough skill points to unlock all of my skills? I don't think so, but I digress. I made that mistake myself, and now I can see the pitfalls of grinding after I finished everything. I just didn't think I would have to grind to such a significant degree. Now, after I did that in the main game, I did learn my lesson and I grinded out Zoro, Law, and Sabo's skills before I completed their challenge levels, which actually did benefit me in the end and it made things a lot easier. But to be honest, the methods for grinding just come out to being so inefficient that I would lose my motivation to grind very quickly. It would take me days to grind these achievements out, especially when I work a full-time job and can't always contribute a considerable amount of time to grinding out these skill points. All in all, if they just allowed us to have better methods of grinding skill points to upgrade or even made them a tad bit cheaper, I wouldn't feel so negative. But truly, this felt like a grind for grind's sake. Put some YouTube or Netflix on while you go for this because it's extremely boring, believe me. These achievements all get a negative rating from me. Alright, next up we have all 3 of the DLC challenge achievements. We have the Master, the Throne, and Top of the World. And all 3 require you to complete all of the DLC challenges with their respective characters and ensuring that you get the highest grade. Now, I personally loved the challenge levels for the DLC characters specifically. They oftentimes felt just challenging enough, but not so challenging I want to pull my hair out, unlike the Boss Rush DLC, which I will get to right after this. Now, when I look back at my time completing these challenge levels, they stand out in my mind as highlights to the game. Maybe it's because of the variation of skills for each of the characters, but I truly enjoyed taking down a ton of enemies as Zoro to try and collect their buttons within the time limit, speeding through a set course and performing takedowns as fast as I could while playing as Sabo was such a good time, and teleporting past a bunch of enemies as Law to try and get to the end of the course as fast as I could to make sure I got an S rank made me feel like a badass. These all felt so satisfying to me and honestly earned, probably due to the grind that I did to make sure I had all of these skills, but still, the challenge levels for the DLC characters were my personal highlights of the game because they were just something different and new. All 3 of these achievements get a positive rating. Alright, and finally we are on our last achievement, Y'all Going Down. This achievement is worth 30 gamer score and it requires you to complete the boss rush with the top grade. Now, like I just briefly alluded to a moment ago when discussing the other challenge levels, this one was definitely a challenge. So I suppose it really fits the bill for a challenge level. Now, as a basic description of what you need to do to complete the achievement, you need to make sure that you complete 10 waves of these bosses. So these are single bosses. You need to defeat 10 of them within 5 minutes. And if you defeat all 10, then you just need to survive for the remaining amount of time. If you play on easy and you have good equipment and are really efficient in your special attack usage, you'll have a really easy chance of clearing this without much trouble. But since I was playing the game on hard, I was getting straight whooped. Like, it was annoying how easily I would get knocked down. I needed to reconfigure my equipment so I could have the best potential stats, and I finally unlocked this achievement after an hour of failing. Using Eagle Storm helped me easily crush each boss during the boss rush with a bunch of time to spare. Definitely watch out for this achievement. It can be annoying and difficult if you are on a harder difficulty or just do not have decent equipment and skills. This is definitely a challenge to tackle as one of your last achievements because it can be, oh my god, it can be so frustrating if you are not properly prepared, like I was not. This achievement gets a negative rating from me. And with all of that said, we have gone over all of the game's notable achievements. So in conclusion, this game has some achievements that are quite grindy, and some can be pretty finicky, but overall, this game is not a difficult completion and only requires a decent commitment to complete it. You probably just need 2 or 3 weeks of regular play. Now, would I recommend you go for all the achievements in this game? My answer is only if that's your thing. There are a ridiculous amount of collectibles and side quests in the base game, and the grind required to level up your power rank and collect all skills as any of the characters in this game is abhorrent. It is a fantastic game to play as a fan, especially if it is on sale, which it always is, and I will always smile when I look back on my time playing this game. But the Platinum Trophy or 1600 gamer score up for offer is only really worth it if you have compulsion to get 100% like I do. It is not a fun completion by any means, so keep that in mind. I personally felt more relieved than fulfilled once I popped that final achievement in the game. So just remember that if you are adverse to grinding for your completions, this one is not for you. Alright, with all of that being said, we have made it to the end of this video. Please, if you did enjoy, drop a like or subscribe to my channel because I have got a bunch more videos coming out and this one was a lot of work. I do hope you enjoyed. And if you are seeing this video in the future, maybe there's another episode of this video series. Maybe I finally came up with the name of it, Barely Completed. I don't know, drop a comment if you have any suggestions, please. I would love to hear any suggestions. But anyways, I would be grateful if you checked out any of my other videos or any of my other videos from the series if you are coming from the future. If I did make another one of these videos, it should be on the screen right now as end screen cards. So please click that if you are interested. Anyways, please do take care, everybody. I will see you in my next video when I start up Assassin's Creed Chronicles China.